Hello. I wanted to make a video today because I suddenly was like really angry about this thing that I've just been coming out of, and I wanted to make a vlog about it. And I want to first say that this video, what I'm going to talk about, is nothing to do with calling people out or trying to insinuate certain people in this or trying to blame certain people or like pointing without saying to the particular people. It's not about calling anyone out. It's about talking about my experiences in the gay community and how certain behaviour within that community has affected me really, really badly. And just to make people aware that a part of the LGBT community, what that does and what that is, and what you can do to change it. So basically, my early experience in the LGBT community was that I was initially welcome, and then I trod on a couple toes, and there was this kind of reverberating effect where suddenly I was slowly kind of pushed out of the community, and I was slowly kind of like made to feel less welcome, and there were less people that didn't like me, and people that were making rumours about me or whispering about me. And this isn't the whole of the LGBT community, but there was basically situations, pretty common situations, where you like share an ex with someone or sleep with someone that someone else slept with, or because we're lesbians and there's like 12 of us and we all have sex with each other. And I was doing that kind of stuff. I was just having sex because I was a lesbian and I have sex. And suddenly there were all these consequences where like different kind of tiny situations would happen, and just people from them would just spawn these opinions of me, and then slowly I was made to feel so unwelcome in the LGBT community. I was like uninvited to parties, and people didn't like me and like wouldn't talk to me and would delete me off Facebook and stuff like that. And the first thing is, it's part of the LGBT community, specifically with so many people there that are like attracted to each other and sleeping with each other, and it's tiny that you get people sleeping with each other, and sometimes it's really painful. Like, I've had that when your ex breaks up with you and then they sleep with someone else like 2 days later, and you're like, fuck that bitch, like, fuck her. And so this isn't about people that are directly affected by an action, because if you feel like you're hurt because someone slept with your ex, or your ex is going out with someone new, or there's this kind of that related drama, if something's affecting you directly, then you have a right to look after yourself and to deal with that the only way you know how. And if the way you know how is to just ignore the person or delete the person or whatever, then that's healthy and that's good. That's a good thing. You need to deal with that shit, like the only way you can. I'm talking specifically about people that are friends or related to those people who would then take on opinions about me and talk about me and then spread rumours about me or whatever, and kind of this opinion started to form about me, and this kind of consensus started to form about me that I was one of the bad guys, even though part of the LGBT community is that people get pissed off for each other and there's drama and you sleep with someone's ex and they sleep with your ex. And what am I trying to say here? I'm talking about that specific behaviour because that made me feel so unwelcome, and does still make me feel so unwelcome. Like, I had literally people would maybe come up to me and be like, oh, hey, it's really sad that person doesn't like you, about a person that I have never had a conversation with, never in my life talked to. Like, they don't know me at all. I don't know them at all. I don't know the first fucking thing about them. I don't know the course they do. I don't even know if they're at this uni. Like, and they just don't like me because of what they heard about me. And I want to send this out to LGBT people, because if something shitty happens to you in your community, you can deal with it the way you know how. If you are affected by something that's painful for you, you deal with it. But if you are friends of somebody and you decide to judge somebody else based on what you heard about them and what you know about them, I mean, you might say that's your prerogative. I can hate someone if I like. I can dislike someone if I like. I can, ignore someone if I like. But the fact of the matter is, if you do that in the LGBT community, it has a different effect from other places. It's not the same as doing it in school when there's 200 people in your year. It's not the same as doing it at work when someone can make friends with someone else. Because what you end up having is a situation where there's the people in the middle that have people to back them up, and they have people to talk to, and they have people to have their side of the story, and they have people to say no, don't bitch about them, and they have people to say no, they can come to this party because we're here. They have another side of the story. But when you have a new person coming into the LGBT community, like, who doesn't have that support network, that ends up rebounding back on them way worse than it does on the other person who's on the other side of the story. I mean, this happened to me when I was like, well, it's happened in several kind of lumps and bumps. But, oh my god, my phone's ringing. This happened to me when I was just coming out. Like, just coming out, and I just broke up with my girlfriend, and this is in like kind of the 6-7 months after I was coming out, and this period of time when like I needed people who were like me. I didn't understand what my sexuality was. I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to figure out, like, how do you lesbian? Like, what does this mean? Who am I? Like, I need people that understand me and can vibe off this and can talk to me and like get it, and don't ask me to explain it and define it and justify it. I needed that, and I didn't get it because there was kind of a little period where I was welcome, and then just gradually, just no. Like, I was uninvited to parties and deleted and all this crap that just eventually just took me out of the LGBT scene. And I can't go back to LGBT events anymore. Like, I can't go to LGBT society events because the people that are in the crux of that, a lot of them, and not all of the, they're not all the society, a lot of them are lovely, lovely people who I like and I'm friends with, but there's just people in the crux of the society who I don't feel comfortable around, who I don't think want me to feel comfortable around them. Like, if you're in the LGBT scene and you want to support your friend, do that as best as you can. And maybe you want to not like people on behalf of them, but you have to acknowledge that if you're disliking somebody you don't know, if you're bitching about somebody, if you're spreading a rumour or an idea or even a fact about somebody, if you're uninviting someone to a party, if you're glaring at someone across the room, if you're doing that in your community, you're vilifying people in your community. Like, the LGBT society, the LGBT community, like certain bars, they're not for you and your friends. They're not for you and your group of friends to feel safe and feel okay. They're not for you to feel like these are the people that haven't fucked any of my exes. They're for everybody who's LGBT and everybody, hopefully, who's any gender and sexuality minority. That's what we're building. We're not building a safe space for certain people who are pissy because their friends are sad. That's not what we're doing, and whether you like it or not, the slightest actions, a glare across the room, ignoring somebody, like a really mumbled hi. When someone's feeling vulnerable and someone's new to that space and someone needs friends and support, you're vilifying them and you're excluding them and you're pushing them slowly out of their own community. You might not like it, you might feel like you have a right to not engage with people if you don't feel like it. Maybe you do. But if you're in the LGBT community, you need to take responsibility for that. You need to take responsibility. Whether someone fucked the first 5 people they came into contact with, or someone had sex with your friend's ex, or they're part of that community and they're just as entitled to it as you are. I'm sure every fucking person in the LGBT community, especially LGB, has been through the experience of not being liked because you slept with the wrong person, or you trod on the wrong toes, or you said the wrong thing, or you like fell on someone when you were drunk and they didn't like it. Like, you've been through that. So why are you doing that to somebody else? Like, just think about it. How that would feel. I just wanted to make a rant about that because it's been such a massive effect on my life the last time, like the last year and a bit, like when I was going through breakups and going through hard times and I needed my community, and there are certain aspects of it that didn't make me welcome. So be conscious and support your people, whether they fuck the right people or not. That's all I wanted to say.